Hello guys, welcome back to Fun with Frank. In this video we're going to look at the top 10 NFL football players. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. The National Football League was founded in 1920. There have been a variety of playstyles that have spanned many decades. Tom Brady, Barry Sanders, Lawrence Taylor, and Jerry Rice are among the players for whom compelling cases can be made that they are the best ever. In this video, we'll rank the top 10 players of all time. Number 10. Dick Butkus, the monster of the Midway. In the midst of the defense for the Chicago Bears from 1965 to 1973 was Dick Butkus. Butkus was renowned as one of NFL's toughest and most vicious defensive players. Named the monster of the Midway for his intimidating presence, he inspired dread in his rivals. Word on the street has it that he would growl and snarl at other players in an effort to strike fear into them, all the while cursing them out and promising to destroy them. However, Butkus had other strengths besides his intimidating presence. He was one of the best defensive turnover artists in league history, because to his speed, skill, and awareness. Butkus recovered 27 fumbles and had 22 interceptions in his 9 seasons on the field. Number 9. Reggie White. Is there anything new to be said about Reggie White? That defensive end had one of all-time great careers on defense. In his professional football career, he was a star player for both the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. White logged 124 sacks while playing 121 games for the Eagles. His 6 years with Green Bay resulted in an additional 68.5 sacks. What was a formidable lineman who played for many NFL teams. After 15 seasons, he finished in the top 5 in sacks twice and led the league in the category twice. He won Defensive Player of the Year awards twice and was instrumental in the Patriots Super Bowl 31 loss by recording a game-high 3 sacks, which stood as the Super Bowl record until it was tied by 3 other players. Number 8. Walter Payton. After being taken 4th overall by the Chicago Bears in 1975 draft of NFL, Walter Payton played his whole career in Chicago. Because of his pleasant demeanor and voice, he was given the nickname Sweetness on the field. According to the legendary Jim Brown, Payton was a fighter who never tried to escape a hit by going out of the bounds. He missed his first game as a rookie due to injuries, but went on to play in 186 straight games. Later in his career, Payton would become the all-time leader in rushing yards, one of several records he would break. Even before Michael Jordan, Payton had his own flu game. In a game against the Minnesota Vikings on November 20, 1977, Payton rushed for 275 yards despite suffering from flu-like symptoms and a fever of 102 degrees. It was a record that stood for 23 years. Number 7. Aaron Donald. We may look back on Donald and see the best defensive player in NFL history. Despite playing inside and so having to face double and even triple teams, he still manages to finish near the top of the league in sacks every year. In 2018, Donald even led the league in sacks by a defensive tackle with 20.5. He can outwork his opponents because to a combination of skill, power, and finesse that allows him to bowl over offensive linemen and become slim to split defenders. Number 6. Peyton Manning. Perhaps no other NFL athlete has ever been as intelligent as Peyton Manning. Manning's ability to call audibles and his in-depth understanding of the offenses he led helped him make famous throughout the course of his 18-year career. Many players rode Manning's arm to fame and fortune, signing multi-million-dollar extensions and even starting their careers with him. His 5 most valuable player honors are the most ever given out in NFL history, and they're all testaments to the fact that he was the most crucial member of every team he played for. Only as a rookie, and again in 2001, when he led the NFL's second-ranked offense in both yards and scoring, but had the league's worst defense, did he ever have a losing record. Number 5. Lawrence Taylor, LT. Lawrence Taylor single-handedly altered the dynamic of several offensive positions and formations. Taylor was 6'3" and 255 pounds in the 1970s, when the average NFL lineman was just a hair taller and heavier. Over time, the league's offense shifted to become more quarterback-centric, with running backs primarily serving as pass catchers and fewer carries occurring on the ground. Taylor entered the league at a pivotal time, and he immediately became a superstar. His massive frame and lightning-quick feet wreaked havoc on opposing defenses. While it was common practice for teams to allow running backs to block outside linebackers, Taylor quickly proved that he could easily outmuscle any back the defense threw at him. As a result, opponents of Taylor began searching for bigger, more athletic left tackles. After 30 years, the left tackle position has become the highest paid in the NFL, second only to the quarterback. Number 4. Barry Sanders. There is some debate as to whether or not Barry Sanders is the best back to ever run with a football. Sanders, following a season in which he rushed for almost 1,500 yards, decided to call it quits on his football career before he turned 30. Sanders' decision stunned the sports world because he was so close to setting a new mark for rushing yards. He left the game as the only player to ever rush for 1,000 yards in each of his first 10 seasons. Sanders also holds the record as the only athlete with 4 consecutive seasons of 1,500-yard rushing. Number 3. Jerry Rice. It's not even close. Jerry Rice is the best wide receiver in NFL history. Every significant receiving record in NFL history belongs to Rice, and the next closest player is far behind. Rice has more receiving touchdown catches, 40, and receiving yards, 5,050, than the next closest receiver, 100. Despite the fact that he played professionally for a whopping 20 years, his dominance on the field ensured that he set numerous records even in his later years. Even though Rice was well into his 40s, he still managed to rack up over 1,200 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. Rice spent the most portion of his career with the San Francisco 49ers, where he caught passes from legends like Joe Montana and Steve Young. Rice had Hall of Fame quarterbacks throwing to him, but it wasn't the reason for his success. One might take the case that Rice is the most dangerous receiver in the open field and after the catch in football. Number 2. Jim Brown. When Brown was active, a football season lasted only 12 to 14 games. But despite this, Brown has the only career averages in the NFL of over 100 yards per game and over 5 yards per rush. Brown led the NFL in rushing 8 times throughout his 9-year career, and he led the league in touchdowns 5 times. Every year of his 9 seasons, he was chosen for the Pro Bowl. 8 of those years, he was also named to the first-team All-Pro. In his era of the NFL, he had no peer. If he hadn't retired so soon, following one of his best statistical seasons in which he was named MVP and carried for 1,544 yards and 17 touchdowns, those records might never have been broken. Even more amazing than Jim's other accomplishments was his remarkable resilience under pressure. Number 1. Tom Brady. As a player, Tom Brady is up there with the most intense competitors. Even in his mid-40s, he continues to play at a top 5 level, and he has done so year after year. 20 years in the NFL, 10 Super Bowl appearances, 7 championships. He has already left the game as the all-time leader in throwing yards and touchdown passes. Brady's career has included practically every possible role. Not only does he hold the record for most NFL victories, but he also once held the record for most passing touchdowns in a season, led the largest comeback in NFL history, threw for the most yards in Super Bowl history, was named Comeback Player of the Year after breaking his leg, led his team to a perfect regular season record, and led a team he joined at the age of 43 to the Super Bowl victory after playing in a different system for 19 years. Thank you for watching the video.